I know it's in my briefcase. Welcome, everyone. So is council ready to go? So welcome, everyone, to our meeting of July 21st, 2026. Mr. Clerk, can I get this meeting called to order, please?
Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane. Be it resolved that this regular meeting now open at 6 p.m.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion's carried. Is there any opening remarks from members of council? Seeing none, I will go to the adoption of our agenda. Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli. Be it resolved that the agenda be approved as presented.
Thank you. Any comments, changes, omissions to the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or nature thereof? Seeing none. Moving to no delegation, so the adoption of our minutes of previous meeting.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham. Be it resolved that the following minutes be approved as presented. Regular meeting, June 23rd, 2026.
Thank you. So any comments or changes to our previous minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to item 9.1 in regards to our monthly staff reports.
Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of North Stormont receive the monthly staff reports.
Thank you. So I'll look for any questions regarding our report, starting with Councillor McDonald.
Just a compliment to the staff on all the videos that have been coming out. I think it's in the economic development report specifically, but there's been a list of videos that have come out for the public to see, and some improvements to the website and communication. And I feel like I've seen it just passively in my own life, and I learned a lot just watching those videos as well. So I think our residents are likely enjoying them too. So I think that's a great addition to what we offer as a municipality.
And I think it's with our new EDO and communication, but I think staff also in other departments are getting on board. So it's nice to see that going. I was over at the Avonmore Fair on the weekend. They were talking about how the fair was promoted, and through Tara, I said, this is where I want to go, is to start promoting all the good stuff, even businesses and so on. So I think we're heading in the right direction, and let's hopefully keep it going. Other questions in regards to our reports? To Councillor Shane.
First off, I'd also like to commend the work on our EDO. Great work. So many feeds out there on Facebook. It's really great. They're putting us out there in the public. One for Nancy Ann. In your occurrences, Clean Yard, ongoing 17 property standards 2. What is really the difference between those two? I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? In your occurrences here,
Yes.
Count status?
Yes.
Under Clean Yards, there's 17 ongoing, and then under property standards, unkept properties 2. I'm just kind of curious, what is the difference of these two?
It's which bylaw I can use. So there's a property standard is mostly used for, let's say, vacant properties, tenanted dwellings and stuff like that, derelict vehicles. There's a different, if the water was coming from another person's yard, where Clean Yards is more grass. It's more the aesthetics of the yard.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have one. So Andre's not here. So Mr. CAO, I'm not sure if you can, when we look at the permit value over whether it's the month and moving into for the permits issued this year, we're looking at the permit value and then the permit revenue received. Is there a reason? So if the permit's been issued, does I see maybe Madam Treasurer can also help out, but just numbers, which is really nice to see. We're coming into basically halfway through the year, and actually this report, I believe, is to the end of June. So we're at 177, which is very good numbers for development in North Stormont, but we only have 117 in regards to revenue received. Can you maybe just give me a highlight on that, Kim?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's when the permit is processed and when the person physically comes in and pays for it. So that $117 is what's physically in our general ledger on the financials statements, whereas what the permit value is, we just haven't received some of that money yet.
Which
It's a
shows
timing issue.
the June report is roughly at 70-some thousand. So is it this ongoing, say, from that month and to get finalized would be the difference? So it just gets pushed along and brought up to speed by the end of the year.
Correct, and the reason, through you, Mr. Mayor, the reason for the two columns is what our auditors have seen and what we've seen is monthly we try to make sure that whatever's in these reports matches what the general ledger says, and it hadn't. So this is to be clear to the auditor, yes, this is the amount of permits that have been issued, but to date, we've only received this much revenue physically into the office. So it's a balancing thing.
Perfect, thank you very much. Move that down. So one last time, any other further questions to our directors? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting the reports? Motion is carried. Moving on to item 9.2, in regards to Countryside Acres subdivision draft plan approval extension. Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Vigelli, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont hereby supports and recommends an extension of the draft plan approval for the Countryside Acres McBain subdivision, SDG file number 01-NS-S-2023, to the Director of Planning and Economic Development Services at the United Counties of SDG.
Thank you. So the draft plan, so that's the overall right up to, so we're going ahead in phases. So that's just that draft plan that's at the counties that we're putting the extension to keep it going. So any questions from council? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Engineering design standards for subdivision and site plan.
Moved by Councillor Vigelli, seconded by Councillor Shane, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont hereby adopts the proposed engineering design standards as the subdivision and site plan design guidelines for the municipality.
Okay, before I go to questions, so I was attended in Kingston for the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus on Thursday, Friday. So the agenda came out on Thursday with County Council on Sunday. So Sunday night, I went through again Monday. There's a lot to read and to really understand. So if I'm not mistaken, we did not have, in North Stormont, we did not have those guidelines that are being put in, Mr. CAO.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, we were the only municipality in the counties. This was a county project that was led a number of years ago. And when I arrived in my meeting with planning, it was recommended that we consider it and take a look. It just recently, just at the end of 2025, was adopted by South Dundas through their process. As you can see from the document, it's got some variations for different townships based on what their design standards are and what they've had in place. We brought Laura and I brought the staff together to review that document and gave everyone an opportunity to speak to it. Blake, as a superintendent, public works superintendent, referenced that he was involved in the initial design and providing some feedback, and that there's some adjustments in there that represent what we do in North Stormont. And as Laura has probably prepared, and I'll suggest that maybe she share, is, and I know a couple of the meetings that I've been in where it's been asked of us, do you have guidelines, subdivision and property standard guidelines for us to reference as we plan moving forward? So it is something that is being requested of us. And I know we've had some conversations with one of the subdivisions that's ongoing around what they wanted to do, what we were looking for. So hopefully the plan will be when we can provide these to any future developers. We're familiar with the ones we're dealing with now, but we don't know who's going to be knocking on the door in the next 5 to 10 years, and we're trying to move with growth. So we want to make sure that we have set standards that they can follow, rather than them the reference to, well, check, many of them develop in Ottawa. Well, these are the Ottawa design standards. Well, we're not Ottawa, so we want to make sure we have something that's consistent with our counterparts, since we are working through planning, obviously through SDNG and the planning there. But I'll reference Laura if she has something further she wants to share.
ahead.
Chad pretty much covered everything that I was going to say, but there was other additional questions from council, which I'm happy to speak to, related to if there's any staff concerns, our past practices, is this make sense for all the villages, and if there's an opportunity for the developers to give feedback. So I can just provide a high-level answer to all of those, but as Chad mentioned, all the departments were consulted and there was no huge concerns identified with the guidelines. As far as are there any inconsistencies with our past practices? Engineering practices are always evolving, and these are the best current practices that we have for this region. And as Chad mentioned, these guidelines were developed with SDG counties, EVB engineering, and Blake had a lot of insight on them as well. So they're best for this area, and they also include provincial standards and other local engineering guidelines. And these will be applied to the entire township, including the villages. There are some considerations for rural versus urban developments. It's typical for us to have pre-consultations with the developer and advise on what level of detail is needed for different developments. So we do recognize that they vary and they're all unique and have different requirements. And we didn't, these guidelines are based on provincial standards. We didn't feel it was necessary to get the developer's feedback at this point. As Chad mentioned, there has been interest from new pre-consultations with new developers we're having, where they do ask if we have guidelines. So we feel that they would be very well received if they're adopted.
Well, before I go for question, I think there's a lot of value in having. My only thing is, it's not something where we can say, "Oh, what did you change?" Because there's not really something to rely on to. So, thinking it'd be like work in progress, where we move on for a year, and then possibly, I think not just here but everywhere, identifying maybe some. I'm happy to hear like EVB was also involved, which is different. So we have our peer review done at the township. You've got so the more the merrier is my thoughts. So, but I'll look at questions from council. So go ahead, Deputy Mayor Densham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and yeah, thank you for the answers. It was my email over that was asking a number of those questions, and I agree. I think it's going to be a valuable tool to put in place. So thank you for the work that's gone into it so far. But again, I'm feeling exactly what the mayor is saying, a little overwhelmed, because this is not something that we have a point of reference to work from at this point, despite the fact that you probably do and the other municipalities do. So my take on this was, if we can get as many people to voice into it who are interested in looking at it and reviewing it and potentially raising it, that could keep us out of having debates after the fact. I didn't know whether or not it's appropriate to ask a couple of our key developers just to have a once-over and see if they have any issues, not to suggest that we would necessarily change it, but just to get ahead of any of the questions where we may, as a council, feel comfortable to have some flexibility in the way the report presents itself. But again, I realize that at the end of the day, it's kind of up to us to set the standards. So that was my only thinking about beyond our own staff, which I thank you. I hear that Blake has had his input on it, but like I say, if there's any other input that we could get ahead of the game, rather than this tool being seen as being imposed on people, it hopefully will be able to be utilized and adopted as quickly and as amicably as possible by all parties involved.
Did you want to add to that, Laura?
Yeah, through you. So there is an option if something's not working for a specific development, if they need to deviate from a guideline, that's possible. It would just have to be demonstrated by their engineer and accepted by our engineer, and of course it would come to council. So there is option for a little bit of deviation from the guidelines in very unique circumstances, so. At least, yeah.
On that note, I think the developer that, our main developer that's here, had the opportunity to build phase 2 of the, I call it the Saca subdivision, but the La Roque subdivision. They also built in Moose Creek. I think they're very well, it's more you get now where there's interest from other developers. Well, first thing they'll do is go and look at the document to identify what, and I think that's something that was lacking for us moving forward and will be very beneficial. So.
Quick supplement on that. Just based on what you understand about any of the development that has happened so far to date and this document, is everybody actively complying to what this document would present right now? Or would you see somebody deviating from these standards in today's development activity that's taking place?
Through you, I wish someone from Public Works is here tonight because they would be the best person to speak to that.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So to that point, the developers are working with the engineers that were part of the development of this document. So for the most part, it is operating under those guidelines. And the guidelines are there, but we haven't put them out as what we're following, but it is what Public Works is working with, and our civil engineer that we hire. The guidelines that Public Works shares with him is what the conversations that he has with EVB. In most cases, we do have a couple of other engineers that we're dealing with, but because EVB is predominantly leading and part of and planning the subdivision designs, they're familiar with these guidelines that have been produced and used in other townships. So we haven't got really much feedback to give you because we haven't put them out yet because we wanted to bring them to council. But I see it as a living document and something that we'll have to stay on top and have, as to your point, Mr. Mayor, being reviewed on a regular basis. And if there is, we get to those sticking points where we're seeing in multiple locations, or even it starts to crop up that maybe our design standard is not consistent with what's happening in the growth and the movement in civil engineering, then we have to look at it and consider that. I think that's fair comment, and we want to make sure it doesn't become a dynamic document that just sits on a shelf and we hand it out and there's no discussion on it, because that's not going to help anybody.
Councillor McDonald.
So this was something that came up like as far back as when I was working at the county. And it's something that the county has been trying to organize for such a long time. And it shows the strength, I think, of our county specifically, how we all work together. Like for a developer to come in to SDNG and not have to now like guess whose standards they have to follow depending what side of a line they're on. This is a huge benefit, I think, to the developers. They're used to working with these types of things every town they go to. And coming here and someone sort of saying, well, we're not sure, propose something, and we'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Like, that guessing game is so much worse for them. They just want the certainty. So I'm really supportive of it. I think it does always have to be reviewed, and I trust our staff and our technical experts that it is what it is. And I certainly did not read all 249, however many pages. But I do think it's an accomplishment that should be recognized, the work that it took to get here, and I'm happy to support it as well. So thank you.
Any question, Councillor Bajelli?
Just supplementing comments on that as well. Like, obviously, we are far from engineers. I'm not going to pretend to be one. That being said, speaking of consistency across the board, it obviously has a huge benefit. The fact that all other parties kind of were consulted in the other townships as well, it just speaks to those that actually have the know, saying this is going to work, this is a good. Clearly, as the CAO has mentioned as well, this will be a living document. So as you've stated as well, as engineering practices change, those documents will change along with it, and it may not be all in one go, but with the counties taking the lead on this as well, it's a good starting point for us. Like I said, we're coming from nowhere. We have to start somewhere before we can start evolving. So I have no qualms in supporting this.
Perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there was funding, is it the modernization, which again is always nice to see, to take advantage when that happens, to basically build on our process. So, any other questions in regards to the report? So I'll ask all in favor. Motion is carried. Moving on to the information report or in regards to our delegated authority bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Vigelli, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont receives this key information report on delegated authority bylaws 14, 15, 25, 26, and 35-2026 for information purposes.
Thank you. Any questions? Basically, I like to see that. It just makes it more transparent of what was passed. Often you see the part lock control for a split of a semi-detached, but it's still, I appreciate to see that in our reports. So all in favor of the delegated authority bylaw, motion is carried. The temporary exemption permit to nuisance bylaw. Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Vigelli, seconded by Councillor Shane, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont approves the request from the Finch Mixed League year-end event being held on Friday, August 21st from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. and Saturday, August 22nd from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. and allows an exception as a BYOB municipally significant event.
Before I go to questions, could I maybe get our rec director just to elaborate on the report?
Yeah, through the chair, it's actually the year-end mixed baseball league event, which is all residents from the community, so it does qualify as a municipal singular event. We could have also went for a tailgate event, which is a sporting event, so we had two options going, but since we didn't present to council what a tailgate event is and regulations, so we went with the bring your own alcohol regulations and permit. So this will allow the event to take place and people bring their own beer, bring their own alcohol in the designated area, and it'll be supervised by one of our staff members, our CEO, Mr. Chad Brownlee. So he's the organizer of the event. So we did do a request to AGCO for a permit. If you notice, we won't need a noise exemption because the event finished at 8 p.m. on the Saturday night. So the noise exemption is only for after 11 p.m. So if you're not sure, if you allow me a few minutes, there's different scenario in AGCO, as a lot of people don't know the difference between a SOP, bring your own, a tailgate event, private SOP. These are all regulations underneath the AGCO. They change quite often, but the bring your own BYOB and the tailgate is new from 2025. So these are regulations. They're coming up with different regulations on them and rules. But right now, the guidelines we're following through the province is for the exact event that we're doing in Finch.
Any questions from council? Go ahead.
I just got to say, I'm shocked that there's baseball at slow pitch. Like, just that's unheard of. But there should be no beer at these events. What are you talking about? No, I actually like seeing this because we all know for years this was just happening, and luckily nothing, has ever happened. The fact that we're going through the legit process of now, nice to see it. Again, shocked that there's beer at ball.
And also, if you look at some of our other venues where they have a beautiful bar, roll-up door that you can, is one thing. The fact that the baseball diamond and the rec center is not tied to, it'd be pretty hard to say, I'll get the next round, and then you drive up to go to the rec in Finch to come back to the ball diamond. So I fully support. Did you want to add something, Mr. CEO?
Yeah, it's so I did attempt, because this league has been running for our 25th season will be next year. So we've been doing it as a community with 12 teams. So we have a very, very strong league. And just to clarify, the majority of the players that play are residents in North Stormont, but we do extend beyond. I did one year, went through a SOP, and the recreation provided a service area, but I saw that and thought, there's too many problems, and I was on the rec, I'm on the rec, so, at the time, so I just wanted to stay away from it. And now that this is an option, it allows me to follow along and do it properly now. So I'm happy that the province has given us that option, and I appreciate if council's able to support it, then I will be regulating it. In the 24 years, I've not had any issues, and actually part of it is cleanup and that, and the teams are all very respectful. I don't have to spend any time at the end of the event picking anything up. It's all done. When I'm done, I walk away. So it's a great weekend event, and lots of family, and the stands are full from the time noon hits on Saturday till it's over on Saturday night. So it's well attended.
Good to hear. Any other questions? Seeing none, so I'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. Moving to, where are we here? VRB. So our delegation of authority resolution for nuisance bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont hereby delegates authority to the Director of Parks, Recreation and Facilities to make and execute decisions on behalf of Council concerning Bylaw 20-2016, nuisance bylaw for events held by recreation committees operating on township recreation land and facilities, and further that Council authorize staff to implement and administer the BYOB exceptions for the municipally significant events held on township properties as per report and guidelines established in Report REC-03-2026.
Thank you. So question from, I'll start, I feel that we're going in the right direction. We've got a great authority with the director. Everything's in place. That I don't think these are the things that have to come to council every time, unless it's something that strays off from the normal path. So I'll look at questions from the remaining council. So I think I'll put that to a vote. So all in favor of the bylaw? Thank you. Motion is carried. Moving on to item 9.7 in regards to animal control and the regulated care and control of animals.
Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont receive the report relating to the finalized animal care and control bylaw and adopt the animal care and control bylaw, thereby repealing bylaw number 062-04, bylaw number 070-05, and bylaw number 31-06.
Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Densham.
Not really a question. This was brought back, I think, from our last meeting because we talked a little bit about adjusting the hours so that the service is available to everybody, even those who work odd hours. So thank you for the changes. Hopefully that will now be able to accommodate everybody, regardless of whether they're working weekends or nights or whatever. So thank you.
Good. Any other question? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to our fees and charges bylaw amendment for 2026.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont receive an information report regarding the proposed amendments to the 2026 fees and charges bylaw to include the open air burning bylaw and civil ceremony fees.
Thank you. Again, any questions? All right. Yeah. Is it? So with that said, no questions, all in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to our variance report.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont accept report FIN-15-2026 from the Treasurer regarding the second quarter variance report for the period ending June 30th, 2026 for information purposes only.
Thank you. So seeing the percentage at 53% when we're coming into July, I think we're well in line, but I will look at questions. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Densham.
Well, again, just another comment. I really, really appreciate your overview, your summary up front. It really helps to understand, because again, to your point about puts and takes, when they happen during the year, it makes it difficult to kind of understand whether or not the percentages should be what we think they should be. But your commentary is golden, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I just ditto that and just also say that I've noticed that you've listened to our questions and anticipated them, and that's really appreciated and noted as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And the fact that it's out there, not just for council, but also for the general public. And a lot of these questions would be asked, but then all of a sudden, there's no need because the answers are kind of put there. So to detail, I mean, everything that just kind of runs smoothly, we don't need to really identify. We're operating our yearly budget. But when you kind of get some differences and you put an explanation out there, it just, I think, helps everyone get a better understanding. So with that said, any questions, other questions in regard to our variance report? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Information report in regards to deferral of capital cost.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont receive this information report on the procedure and application agreement established to address capital connection fee deferrals.
Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor, or sorry.
I haven't changed my filing yet, have I?
Yeah. Go ahead, Councilor Bajelli.
No, I just want to say I appreciate seeing this. It's great to have an internal policy now where we're kind of not put in a bad situation with developers coming in on the one-off situations. A nice internal policy you can follow. Also, not bringing it into council every time that it could be a lower value. Staying that threshold at 50,000, I think it's a reasonable limit to look at. Just looking through the application form, looks pretty clean, simple. Should be fairly simple for anybody seeking to have this deferral to fill out that. So just, yeah, good work all around on this.
Is there any comments from administration on this that you guys want to add before I go to a vote? You're all good? Any other questions? Deputy Mayor Densham.
Again, thank you for the work and the fact that you consulted so many people. I think you were very meticulous in making sure that this was going to work well. I think it's a show of good faith on our parts to developers, that we want to work with them. And my hope is that they'll continue to work with us and work with staff, seeing the fact that we're doing our best to work with them. So again, echoing Councillor Bajelli's words, good work. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to our municipal bylaw, bylaw number 43-2026 in regards to animal control.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont adopt the Animal Care and Control Bylaw, thereby repealing Bylaw number 6204, Bylaw number 7005, and Bylaw 3106.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Bylaw number 44-2026 in regards to fees and charges.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont approve the amendments to the fees and charges bylaw, thereby repealing and replacing bylaw number 86-2025.
Thank you. Any further questions? See none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Bylaw number 45-2026 in regards to our sales of surplus lands.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont approves the sale of surplus land, roll number 0411 016 0003400.0000 to D. Bender in the amount of $1,000 plus all transfer costs, and further directs administration to execute all necessary documents to complete the sale.
Thank you. Any further questions? I think we're questioned out. I think this has come on our table and it's finally can be put to rest. So all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Items of correspondence from 11.1 to 11.9. Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dencham. Be it resolved that the correspondence as listed as items 11.2 to 11.9 on the agenda be received.
Thank you. So if I can just pull item 11.2, not that I want to pull that out, it's just a point of information for council. So I was at in Kingston, and Alto did a presentation to, so they had 5 members of their higher level staff to go over the economics, to go over the detailed route, and it was actually quite beneficial to from what we had been hearing to where we're going. So right now the main focus is the line that's going to start from Montreal, Laval to Ottawa, and all this has actually been publicized, so it will be put on our agenda. I'll make sure it goes to our CEO for our next agenda. The route is somewhat, I apologize, my phone is off, but my watch is not. So the work that's being brought forward is to identify the line. SDNG will not have to deal with landowners through expropriation. We've got, everything is going to be held north of the 417. So the main concern, my main concern for SDG is more the vitality or the via rail and how they're going to be moving forward once this project comes in. And the mandate from the federal government is that Alto has to work with VIA, and they will be part of the scheduling to keep so VIA is not going anywhere. There's still I call it the milk run, but there's still the line that will be dealing with Brockville, Cornwall, Brockville, Cobourg, Belleville. There's but the one factor is now Kingston has been placed now in the plan of overseeing getting a station at the Kingston in the Kingston region. So now they're not part of that first phase of Montreal to Ottawa, so it'll be at a later date. But they are now working at potentially looking at putting a station in Kingston. So that's something that my view is it's not going anywhere. It's coming, but I think it's more being more transparent. I think you are aware that the request was put out for non-DNAs to be put. We're not interested in signing. We would prefer going in closed on some issues, but majority of it is something that should be made out to aware to the public. So I think they're working with us to now identify those challenges and moving forward. So it was a really good meeting. I think it's going to move. They're looking at construction in 2029 for that first phase of Montreal to. So a lot of this information will be publicized, put on paper, and submitted to our CAO or clerk to put on our next agenda for more questions. So with that said, I'll look at the rest of council. Is there anything else on the correspondence, Madam Councillor McDonald?
I was just noting the other resolution from South Dundas is also really relevant to North Stormont, where it's right underneath the Alto, where they talk about the development charge reduction program and how that currently disincentivizes those without development charges from remaining development charge free. So this is still an issue that's on my mind, and I don't know if supporting this resolution would be helpful at the next meeting or what else, but they summed it up quite well, the concerns that I think we share, and I'm happy to support them if it's valuable or useful.
If I can just add the municipality of South Dundas's letter that went out, I think there's a typo. I think they have 590 billion for the project. So I think that was if it is, then maybe we got to revisit. No, I would definitely consider that if we can bring it forward.
Through Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to bring that back in the, at the August meeting. Yep, absolutely.
Deputy Mayor Densham.
We're just checking to see when AMO is, because we have a delegation to talk on this, and we may have a bit more information.
So
that we can share.
AMO is 16th to the 19th, I believe, so we do have a delegation on the 18th.
So, do we want to bring it forward for the next meeting, or do we want, will you be at AMO? Okay,
When's our next meeting?
so maybe we can have
The August meeting
After?
is
August 25th.
Yeah.
And I'll amend my request to wait until after AMO, but I just wanted to say that I thought it was a good resolution. We may want to do something
Okay.
similar, but happy to wait till after.
I'll certainly make note of it, and then after we have our delegation at AMO, then we can make a decision what our next steps will be.
Sounds good. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, so all in favor of our correspondence report? Motion is carried. Unfinished business, so new business. In regards to municipal council's resolution, I'll let Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councilor McDonald.
I believe if you seek it, you will find unanimous consent to defer with the reading of the motion. Although we do have a member of the public, do you have a copy of the agenda, Mr. Genereux there? Okay, I'm just saving him reading.
As you can see, Luc, it's just a very long, yeah. So with all this, Aiden would have been done reading it by now, but we, yeah. So I will look for council for questions. Seeing none, we'll put it to vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. As just previously stated, next meeting will take place Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. And looking now for closing remarks. Oh, yes, because the exact position or name of I don't have. I know. So I don't know if I can get help from our deputy mayor
Well, I
on
think you're the executive project manager and then CAO to be.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So for our members of the public, there has been some drastic changes to our conservation authorities. They went from 36 to, I believe, 9 CA offices. As we all know, Councillor McDonald was the manager at the Raisin River Conservation Region, and now she will be taking over the what's the area that which covers basically Kingston to Port Hope. So it's just actually very nice to have. We will have a representative taking care of our St. Lawrence, I think is the name of our conservation, that will be part of South Nation, Raisin, Ottawa Valley, and Rideau, Mississippi, and then having another member of our group that will, I think, be very beneficial to have. So, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you in the near future, or not directly, but indirectly within the near future. So, well done. So now, closing remarks from council. Seeing none, I will request to go into close, please.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham. Be it resolved that this meeting adjourn to a closed session for the following reasons at 6:44 p.m.
Thank you. All in favor?
A municipal or local board meeting or part of a meeting may be closed to the public if the subject of the meeting falls within one of the exceptions set out in Section 239 of the Act. J, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, or financial information that belongs to the municipality or local board and has monetary value or potential monetary value.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. So thank you very much, Monsieur Généreux. We will reconvene only after close, and hopefully it won't be too long. So for everyone watching tonight and council, thank you very much for your participation.